Qur'an chapter 33, Surah Al-Ahzab. Translation by Muhammad Al-Amrani. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. O Prophet, be conscious of God and do not obey the disbelievers and the hypocrites. Indeed, God is all-knowing, all-wise, and follow what is revealed to you from your sustainer. Indeed, God is aware of all that you do, and place your trust in God, for God alone is sufficient as a guardian. God has not placed two hearts within any man's chest. Nor has he made your wives, whom you declare to be as your mother's backs, truly your mothers, nor has he made your adopted sons, truly your sons. These are but words that you utter with your mouths, whereas God speaks the truth and shows the right way. Call them by their fathers' names, that is more just in the sight of God. But if you do not know their fathers, then they are your brothers in faith and your allies. And there is no blame upon you for what you err in unintentionally, but only for what your hearts deliberately intend. And God is oft forgiving, most merciful. The Prophet is closer to the believers than their own selves, and his wives are their mothers. Blood relatives are closer to one another in God's decree than other believers and emigrants, except that you may do kindness to your allies. This is inscribed in God's decree. And remember, when we took a covenant from the prophets, and from you, and from Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, the son of Mary. We took from them a solemn covenant, so that he may question the truthful about their truthfulness. And he has prepared for the disbelievers a painful punishment. O you who have attained to faith, remember the blessings of God upon you, when hosts came upon you, and we sent against them a storm wind and forces you could not see, and God is ever observant of all that you do. When they came upon you from above you and from below you, and when your eyes grew dim and your hearts leapt up to your throats, and you began to harbour doubts about God, there and then were the believers put to the test. They were shaken with a tremendous shaking. And when the hypocrites and those in whose hearts is disease said, God and his messenger promised us nothing but delusion. And when a faction among them said, O people of Yathrib, you cannot withstand the enemy here, so turn back. And a group of them sought leave of the Prophet, saying, Our homes are exposed, while in truth they were not exposed. They wanted nothing but to flee. And if the enemy had entered upon them from all sides, and they had then been asked to commit treachery, they would have done so without hesitation, and they would have remained in it for only a little while. And indeed, they had already pledged to God that they would never turn their backs in flight, and a pledge to God must surely be answered for. Say, flight will not avail you if you flee from death or killing. Even then you will only be granted enjoyment for a little while. Say, who is it that could shield you from God if he wills harm for you, or if he wills to show you mercy? And they will find for themselves neither protector nor helper apart from God. Indeed, God knows those among you who hinder others, and those who say to their brethren, Come to us, while they themselves hardly take part in battle, grudgingly holding back from you. And when fear comes upon them, you see them looking at you with rolling eyes like one overcome by death. But when fear departs, they lash at you with sharp tongues, miserly towards you. Such people have never truly believed, and so God has made all their deeds come to naught, for that is easy for God. They think that the Confederates have not yet withdrawn, and if the Confederates were to come again, they would wish they were in the desert among the Bedouins asking for news of you, and if they were among you, they would hardly fight at all. Indeed, in the messenger of God, you have an excellent example for anyone whose hope is in God and the last day, and who remembers God often. And when the believers saw the Confederates, they said, This is what God and his messenger promised us, and God and his messenger always speak the truth, and it only increased them in faith and surrender. Among the believers are men who have been true to the covenant they made with God. Some of them have fulfilled their vow, and others await their turn, and they have not faltered in the least. That God may reward the truthful for their truthfulness and punish the hypocrites if he so wills, or turn to them in mercy. Indeed, God is ever forgiving, merciful. And God repelled those who disbelieved in their rage without their gaining any advantage, and God was sufficient for the believers in battle. And God is ever strong, almighty. And he brought down from their strongholds those of the people of the book who had supported them, and he cast terror into their hearts. A group of them you slew, and another group you took captive. And he made you heirs to their lands, their houses and their wealth, and to a land you had never trodden before. And God has power over all things. O prophet, say to your wives, if you desire the life of this world and its adornments, then come, I will provide for you and release you in a gracious manner. But if you desire God and his messenger and the abode of the hereafter, then surely God has prepared a great reward for those of you who do good. O wives of the prophet, whosoever among you commits an open indecency, her punishment will be doubled, and that is easy for God. But whosoever among you devoutly obeys God and his messenger and does righteous works, we shall grant her a double reward, and we have prepared for her a noble sustenance. O wives of the prophet, you are not like any other women, provided you remain conscious of God. Hence, do not be soft in speech, lest he in whose heart is a disease should covet you, but speak in an honourable manner, and remain in your homes, and do not flaunt your charms as the women of the former age of Jahiliyyah used to flaunt theirs, and establish prayer, and render the purifying alms, and obey God and his messenger. Surely God only desires to remove all impurity from you, O people of the prophet's household, and to purify you thoroughly. And remember that which is recited in your homes of God's revelations and wisdom. Verily God is subtle and all-aware. Indeed, the Muslim men and women, the believing men and women, the devoutly obedient men and women, the truthful men and women, the patient men and women, the humble men and women, the charitable men and women, the fasting men and women, the men and women who guard their chastity, and the men and women who remember God often for them, God has prepared forgiveness and a great reward. It is not fitting for a believing man or a believing woman, once God and his messenger have decreed a matter, to have any choice in their affair. And whoever disobeys God and his messenger has indeed strayed into manifest error. And remember when you said to him upon whom God bestowed his favour, and upon whom you also bestowed your favour, keep your wife and fear God, while concealing within yourself what God was to bring to light, fearing the people, while God is more deserving that you fear him. And so, when Zayd had accomplished his purpose with her, we joined her to you in marriage, so that there would be no blame upon the believers regarding the wives of their adopted sons, once they have accomplished their purpose with them. And God's command is always fulfilled. There is no blame upon the prophet in what God has ordained for him. This is the way of God, with those who passed before, and God's command is a decree determined. Those who convey the messages of God and fear him, and fear none but God. And sufficient is God as a reckoner. Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, but he is the messenger of God and the seal of the prophets, and God has perfect knowledge of all things. O you who have attained to faith, remember God with much remembrance and extol his limitless glory morning and evening. It is he who sends blessings upon you, and so do his angels, that he may bring you forth out of darkness into light, and he is ever merciful towards the believers. Their greeting on the day they meet him will be peace. And he has prepared for them a most generous reward. O prophet, truly we have sent you as a witness, and as a bearer of glad tidings, and as a warner, and as one who calls unto God by his leave, and as a luminous beacon. And give glad tidings to the believers that a most great bounty awaits them from God. And do not obey the disbelievers and the hypocrites, and disregard their harm, and place your trust in God. For sufficient is God as a disposer of affairs. O you who have attained to faith, when you marry believing women, and then divorce them before you have touched them, you have no waiting period to reckon against them, so provide for them generously, and release them in a pleasant manner. O prophet, we have made lawful for you your wives, whose dowers you have given, and those whom your right hand possesses of what God has granted you as spoils of war. And furthermore, the daughters of your paternal uncles and paternal aunts, and the daughters of your maternal uncles and maternal aunts who have emigrated with you, and any believing woman who offers herself to the Prophet. If the Prophet wishes to marry her, this is a privilege for you alone, not for the rest of the believers. We know well what we have enjoined upon them with regard to their wives and those whom their right hands possess, so that there be no difficulty for you in this matter. And God is ever forgiving, merciful. You may defer the turn of any of them that you wish, and you may receive any of them that you wish, and there is no blame on you if you invite back any of those whom you have set aside. This is more likely to gladden their hearts, so that they may not grieve, and may all be well pleased with what you give them. And God knows well what is in your hearts, and God is ever all-knowing, forbearing. It is not lawful for you to take any additional women after this, nor to exchange them for other wives, even though their beauty may please you, except those whom your right hand possesses, and God is ever watchful over all things. O you who have attained to faith, do not enter the Prophet's houses unless permission is granted to you for a meal, and do not linger waiting for its preparation. But when you are invited, then enter, and when you have eaten, disperse without lingering for idle conversation. Such behavior offends the Prophet, and he feels shy to dismiss you, but God is not shy of teaching you the truth. And when you ask his wives for anything, ask them from behind a curtain. This is purer for your hearts and their hearts. And it is not for you to harm God's messenger, nor to ever marry his wives after him. Truly, this would be a grievous offence in the sight of God. Whether you reveal something or conceal it, surely God knows all things. There is no blame on the Prophet's wives if they appear unveiled before their fathers, their sons, their brothers' sons, their sisters' sons, their womenfolk, or those whom their right hands possess. And be ever conscious of God, for surely God is a witness over all things. Indeed, God and his angels bless the Prophet. O you who have attained to faith, bless him and greet him with peace. Surely those who offend God and his messenger God has cursed them in this world and the hereafter, and he has prepared for them a humiliating punishment. And those who harm believing men and believing women undeservedly have burdened themselves with slander and manifest sin. O Prophet, tell your wives, your daughters, and the women of the believers to draw their cloaks over themselves. That is more fitting, so that they may be recognized and not harmed. And God is forgiving, merciful. If the hypocrites, those with diseased hearts, and the rumour-mongers in Medina do not desist, we shall certainly incite you against them, and they will not remain your neighbours therein, except for a short while, accursed wherever they are found, seized and killed relentlessly. Such has been the way of God with those who passed before, and never will you find in the way of God any change. The people ask you about the hour, say, its knowledge rests with God alone. And what could make you know? Perhaps the hour is near. Indeed, God has cursed the disbelievers and prepared for them a blazing fire, abiding therein forever, finding neither protector nor helper. On the day their faces will be turned about in the fire, they will cry, "Oh, would that we had obeyed God and obeyed the messenger!" And they will say, "Our sustainer, truly we obeyed our leaders and our elders, and they led us astray from the path. Our sustainer, give them double the punishment and curse them with a mighty curse. O you who believe, be not like those who wronged Moses, but God cleared him of what they said, and he was, in the sight of God, honourable. O you who believe, be conscious of God and speak words that are straight and true. He will set right your deeds and forgive you your sins, and whoever obeys God and his messenger has indeed achieved a great triumph. We offered the trust to the heavens, the earth, and the mountains, but they refused to bear it and were fearful of it. Yet man took it on, for truly he is unjust and ignorant. This so that God may punish the hypocrites, men and women, and the idolaters, men and women, and so that God may turn in mercy to the believers, men and women, for God is ever forgiving, merciful.